Welcome back to another episode of Drivers for Drivers. I'm Ken Cox. We've got Kenny Coons,
Howdy.
Francis Sam.
Hi.
Behind the scenes, we have Arnell.
Hello.
And we are
Drivers for Drivers.
Last week, you had mentioned RFPs, and we're in the 5th and 9th stages of this and that. You want to... I know not what I speak of.
You crack me up. We know what you meant.
Listen. I'm down to about 3 smokes a day.
Nice.
So I'm getting there.
That is good job.
Going from about a pack down to 3, and I wait and I stretch them out, and I'm like, okay, I just wait and wait. I'm a little itchy right now.
You're not like smoking half and putting it out and then relighting it, are you?
That is so gross. So there's an update for you. I'm a little twitchy. My mouth doesn't work anymore. Like my lungs are starting to clear up a bit. Mm-hmm. So you'll hear me. I'll try not to do that a lot. Staying hydrated. That's actually helped quite a bit. A lot.
When you want to smoke, you just chug a 16-ounce of water.
Exercise is involved because I'm walking to the bathroom every 15 seconds.
Have you ever tried liquid smoke, like on your steak or something when you cook it?
Mm-mm.
That might help.
I think he's lying to me.
I think you're right.
So last week you talked about RFPs.
Yeah.
A little bit into how are those going?
They're going good. I mentioned that you got different rounds in an RFP. Some of our folks may not understand what that means. You know, when a customer comes out and gives you an RFP, it's basically a list of all their lanes on where it originates and where the destination is. So when we look at those, we go through and we look at the lane that fits our operation, mm-hmm. and then we'll quote on those and we'll submit them in. And then all that data comes in from all these different carriers and it populates into there. And then it comes back to you on a second round where you can look at it and kind of see how you're falling in line. So it gives you an opportunity to look at that. And sometimes you have to requote or adjust as necessary for those lanes.
Do you find that we have to readjust?
You know, very little. We most of the lanes we run, we've been running them for a while, so we kind of know where it's at. You have to kind of look at the market as well. Sure. You know, and do an adjustment there.
Have to be competitive.
Yeah, you have to be. But I think overall, you know, really there's very little of that goes on. And then sometimes your customers will come back and let's say on their RFP, if they have this one area that hardly anybody's quoted on, they'll ask you, hey, can you look at that, you know, and see if you can help us out there? You know, so we'll kind of take a look at that too and see if it works. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
Sure.
But it's going good.
That brings us into what I've got right here.
Uh-oh.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's a lot of numbers and charts and...
There's a lot of words on here. I don't read much gooder, so bear with me on this one. Scott sends this out once a quarter, I believe. The Q1 U.S. Bank Freight Payment Index report came out. Okay, it came out on the 6th, and it's showing us that Q1 of 24, we were down 21.6% year over year from 23. Okay, it's the largest decline this industry's ever seen.
Yep.
So then you go through and you read a bunch of other stuff, and you know, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And then I get down to this. It says one key metric that could be perpetuating the continued market slowdown is the change in consumption of food and beverage levels.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Our drivers need to buy more food.
You guys
drink
need to
more water.
Buy more food. Hydrate more.
$8 ground beef probably doesn't help. $8 a pound.
Yeah, inflation, I'm sure, has a bunch to do with that.
Yeah. We went down to southern Utah. I took a little vacation to go do that, and the prices of food on the road were just, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
If this keeps up, I'm going to be 12 pounds. 12.
Heavier.
Lighter.
Oh,
I don't know. I think ramen noodles are still like 10 cents a package.
You know, I'm sure our professional drivers deal with this all the time, especially when they're putting stuff in the refrigerator of the truck. But I know a lot of times my wife and I will get together on a Saturday or something and, hey, let's go out for a picnic lunch, you know. So we'll jump in the vehicle, run down the grocery store and get us a loaf of bread, maybe a bag of chips or something, some lunch meat, some cheese, some beverage, you know, some Cokes or waters or whatever it is we're getting. Get up to the register and it's like it's $35.
Oh, man.
And it's like, really? For sandwich lunch?
I was thinking about having some people over for a party, but I don't know if I want to take out a second mortgage to do it.
That's
I
right.
think they're putting less in the bags.
They are. They are.
I should count her loaves of bread, see how many pieces are in there.
How many slices?
Yeah.
I know you open a bag of chips, it's like,
Hello.
I just bought a bunch of air.
Subway fuel. On the bright side, though, if you are able, right now as you're going down the road, if you're able to still be putting money in your pocket, you're doing really, really well.
Yes.
If you can make it through this part in our transportation, I don't know what to call it. Like if you can make it through this little period, you'll make it in trucking.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's right. And Kenny, can you speak a little bit? You know, you've been around this industry for a long time. And what's changing? What's the time of the year, the season? What is it bringing to us?
Well, the first thing is the driver don't want to handicap himself. You got produce seasons, you know, whether they're in California or on the East Coast or wherever. And if you handcuff where you'll go and what you'll do, that's really going to hinder your earning potentials.
For sure.
You know, they got to move that produce. It is perishable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and in order to get that moved, they usually end up paying more, you know. So you'll see an uptick in the rates there. Usually when that happens is other places in the U.S. will drop their rates because they know produce is coming, and they'll consider it a backhaul or something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of companies out there right now that are struggling. You know, I remember what it was, 80,000 trucking companies in the last year and a half, 2 years gone out of business.
Yeah, it's quite a bit.
Yeah, it's a lot.
That tells you how many trucking companies were in the business, you know, and rates will go up when there's not enough trucks to cover the freight. That tells you that there's still a lot of trucks in the industry,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and they're all being very competitive trying to get that business.
Yeah.
But it is produce season, you know, and that'll run through September-ish. Don't handcuff yourselves into where you'll go if you want some of them better rates.
You bet. And then, you know, along with that, with the changing of the season, now you're getting into camping season and barbecue season and parties and stuff. So that brings out some tater salad. That's right. Nothing wrong with a good old tater salad.
I'm hungry.
And some, you know, some steaks and some burgers and some hot dogs and just all that fun stuff that goes along with that. You know, it's people don't do that really in the wintertime, you know, not like they do in the summertime. So there's going to be more that needs to be hauled to.
I'm reading here. It says outside of the strong produce season, volumes shifting in the market, expect some additional rate contradictions and company closures as rates remain in unprofitable territory.
Mm-hmm.
So just keep that in mind as you're looking at your statements. Your from pay. If you're looking at it week to week, it's going to drive you nuts.
Load to load would be worse.
Load to load's even worse.
Yeah.
Week to week's not good. If you can do it month to month and look month to month, oh hey, this month I made $11 billion. Okay, I'm doing okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you can look
Did
at
you
it.
say billion?
I did.
I want your job.
Sold.
Yeah.
But, you know, utility's always been king. When it comes to transportation, trucking, utility's king. If rates are down, and I mean, we have got some of the better rates out there just because of our dedicated customers who are taking care of us as well as we're taking care of them. When we're running and we're hauling their freight, if you sit for 2 days, that's 2 days you'll never get back.
You got to add those 2 days onto the next load you get.
Yeah.
So your utilities shot if you're going by the day.
Mm-hmm.
If you're making $1,000 a day, well, you add 2 extra days of sitting on there because that truck payment still comes due.
Yeah.
This time of year, you're still running fuel to keep cool.
Yep.
So now you're down to $700 a day. That's a big difference.
Yep,
It adds
it is.
up over a month.
Yep, it sure does. Sure does.
Save.
I seen an email the other day. We had a driver that was, I don't want to say nitpicky. That sounds negative. But he wanted to go certain places at a certain time and certain days. And a lot of times trucking's not that cut and dry, And I don't remember who talked to him, but he decided to just run and go where he wanted. He sent an email the other day about, I haven't made this much money in a long time. I appreciate the advice. He just ran his hours out, took the loads that he was given, and he's doing great, Before that, he was struggling a little bit because he'd sit 2 or 3 days trying to get something better, Dispatch's plan is always to get you where the better freight is.
Yeah.
You end up somewhere that freight isn't that good. We're trying to bounce you short to get to something better, When you refuse it, then you're still in that bad area. All it does is compound the problem.
Yeah.
Because eventually to get out of there, you're going to have to take something. You're better to short hop and get on something better.
Because each day you're sitting there, there's $1,000 lost, $1,000 lost, $1,000
Yeah,
lost.
it's compounds quickly.
Yeah, you can't just sit there.
There's only 14 days in a pay period. If you waste 3 of them sitting, now there's only 10.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of miles. That's all the way across the U.S.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
It is.
No, that's
Yeah.
right.
You should. Drivers are usually doing about between 500 and 700 miles a day.
Yeah.
And that's 1,500 on the low
1,500
end
miles. Yeah.
that you didn't run.
2,100 on the high.
That's a lot of shackles.
Yeah, it is. It is. For sure.
Arnell, you got anything you want to add?
I was just gonna say everything is freaking expensive now. I go to Culver's and it's like $20-$30. I just fast food places. This is crazy.
Yeah. No, that's right. That's right. Speaking of expensive, last thing you want to do is have a repair out on the road because that gets really expensive. Some of the wear items for a safety topic here today. Want to talk about hoses, belts, and windshield wipers. Rubber components. Trucks have been idling pretty much all winter long, so those belts have been doing little rotations. The hoses themselves have been carrying antifreeze, expanding, contracting with heat and cold, and they do wear. Clamps get loose. Do yourself a favor and do a good, thorough pre-trip. Look at all of your hoses. Look at your belts. Look for cracks. Look for loose clamps. Look for leaks. Sometimes you'll start seeing a cold water leak or something. Make sure your clamps are on and in good shape. And good windshield wipers will get you a long way down the road. Nothing worse than getting stuck into a rainstorm or something like that, and your wipers are just smearing bugs and stuff all over the place and not clearing your windshield, and you can't see anything.
Funny story.
I could tell.
I was watching TikTok, and this gal goes in because her windshield wipers ain't clearing her windshield. Mechanic says, I'll come out and look at him. And he comes out there and he's looking at him. He lifts his windshield and pulls off that plastic piece. What goes on the blade to protect it. We should probably be a little more aware.
Hook your peepers on it
Yeah. Lift your hood every day.
Yes.
Just make it a habit.
Yep.
and hydrate.
It's very important.
Kenny, you got closing thoughts?
The market is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, we're all going through the same stuff. We're all hauling the same stuff. We will get through it. You know, the market's always been, usually when it goes bad, it's for a year and then it goes back up. You know, this has been the longest trend. I think 2 years, 2.5 years now of this.
Yep.
And when you see things like that, the worst quarter, you know, it can get a guy discouraged. Let us help, you know, give you different ideas. Maybe you're just running in the wrong areas right now, you know. That's what I was meaning about handcuffing. So if you have any questions, reach out to us, you know. Instead of getting discouraged, you know, a lot of guys I just want to hang it up,
Yeah.
you know. Maybe there's something we can do to help you out.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. I think, you know, and Kenny, I sit next to you in the office, you know, so I hear a lot of your conversations and stuff. And you're talking to some of our professional drivers that are out there, and I've heard you know, talk to them before about where they're running and where they can run to improve their revenue, you know, and they just got to think outside the box and really understand where you're coming from when you're talking to them. That sometimes, you know, it may not be the ideal place for them, for where they want to run to. However, if that's where the money's at, then sometimes it makes sense to do it.
Well, we all got to survive.
Yeah.
We all got to eat, you know.
Yep.
We all got to pay our bills.
Yep.
And we're all here in it together.
Yep.
That's right.
Drivers for drivers.
Drivers for drivers.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And I want to thank all the drivers out there that are doing the driving and the picking up and delivering of all this freight and taking care of our customers and taking care of us at Giltner. Appreciate everything that you do. You do an amazing job, and we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. So thank you very much.
Take care of yourselves.
Yes,
Thanks for making the better move.
that's right. See ya.
See ya.